The Reserve Bank governor is dragging an ANC councillor to court. Lesetja Kganyago is suing Andile Lungisa for defamation of character following his Twitter posts. Lungisa called Kganyago a, quote, dutiful servant of racialist superiors, close quotes. Well, Andile Lungisa is my guest and joins me live from Port Elizabeth. Mr. Lungisa, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. Perhaps you may want to take us back to what really compelled you to take to Twitter and make those statements in the first place.
No, we responded to the insults which were thrown by the governor to the ordinary people of this country when he called all of us that were barbarians at the gate when we called for the nationalization of the Reserve Bank. You must remember it's also the position of the ANC. We have called for the nationalization of the Reserve Bank towards the conference of the ANC, which the conference resolved on that position. When all of us have been articulating that position, the governor of Reserve Bank then decided to insult all of us, especially as ordinary citizens in this country. It's where I responded. But he has decided to take a refugee in our own courts, abusing our own courts, whilst have insulted, but now are presenting facts. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's why, one thinks you're actually barking at the wrong tree here, or you're being a coward even, because, if indeed the governor of the Reserve Bank is going against the policies of the governing party, it should be the governing party that takes him and the Reserve Bank on that matter, which, as you know, is in fact not the case. So if anything, the governor of the Reserve Bank and his team are actually pursuing your party's policies.
No, we're saying the governor of the Reserve Bank is not above any other person in this country. He has no authority to call the ordinary people of this country barbarians at the gate when they call for the nationalization of the Reserve Bank.
You know as much as I do that was not literal.
You remember,
okay? He was making a very nuanced point.
Yes. No, you remember I'm part of the generation of the Youth League which resolved in its own conference that in this country we'll fight for economic freedom in our own lifetime, where we emerged in 2011 conference with the clear resolutions, which luckily the December conference of the ANC in 2017 resolved on the nationalization of the Reserve Bank. For the governor to call ordinary people, ordinary citizens, barbarians, who had the responsibility to be able to respond when we're insulted. You must remember my tweets were very simple, were just clarifying the governor that our responsibility, we must be able to temper with the commanding heights of the South African economy. We'll never celebrate poverty in this country. We'll never celebrate unemployment in this country. Our responsibility is to transform the South African economy. As the generation, we will fight until the South African economy is transformed. Our people, they never fought for freedom to sing only the national anthem, only to know the national colors. Our people, they fought for this freedom to have an equitable share in the South African economy, especially those who are Africans in particular and blacks in general. It is a baton that our generation must be able to take forward, or must be able to march until we achieve economic freedom in this country. We cannot allow, and after 25 years, where the economy in South Africa is still in the hands of the few, where our own people, if you go to Johannesburg Stock Exchange, they own less than 3% of the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. It is our generation. We will continue making that clarion call that we must be able to tamper with the means of production in this country. Those who own the South African economy who must be able to change the status quo without fear and favor. If there are Africans amongst themselves, will collaborate with those who are owning the South African economy in fact, is not new. When there were Bantu stands, there were a number of Africans who collaborated with the Bantu stands. There are a number of Africans who collaborated with the apartheid. Even in the 18th century, a businessman from Natal called Makab Kunene, he sympathized with the settlers.
But I mean, these are conversations or arguments that you should have made at Nasrec. And if those are decisions that you actually took, and then you should be speaking to your leaders to ask them why they are not implementing your resolutions. But not to hurl insults at somebody who is doing their job the way your organization understands is how that job should be done. Because in his affidavit, the governor asserts that the tweets that which we've been putting on screen right now, mean that he is a lackey of racist people in society. He does the bidding for racist people in our society. He belittles himself in order to be accepted by racist and supremacist people in our society. And that is his contention, not the history you have just referred to.
No. We'll meet him. He have served us with summons. We'll meet him in court. We will defend our cause. It is not a new terrain which we are entering in South Africa.
And you've lost previously, on unrelated matters, but yes.
Of defending Africans, of defending the wealth, of making sure that what belongs to our people goes back to our people. We will fight that battle. It is a battle which we are going to win, because our forefathers, they've won the battle. That's why in this country we have what is called the political breakthrough of 1994. Our responsibility as a current generation is to achieve economic freedom in our lifetime. There are those amongst ourselves who are not going to stand with us. There are those who are going to be resolute to say the structure of the South African economy, there must be reforms in South Africa, structural reforms, not halupalu. We are in a quarter of a century since our freedom. We are simply saying we cannot allow where we do not tamper with the status quo in South Africa. We cannot celebrate when we do not own the economy in this country.
Okay.
We cannot celebrate where the unemployment is too high in our own country. We must be able to stand up as a generation to fight what belongs to Africans and blacks.
Okay, that's where we're going to leave it. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Lungisa. We'll see whether the courts indeed see things the way you are seeing them. Andile.